What's up, everybody? Time for another game theory video. Remember, if you like the videos, like, subscribe, comment, share, support the channel if you want. I appreciate it. Thanks. Got a few days till my birthday, so you better fucking donate. Super like something, or fuck you, motherfucker. Anyway, today I'm going to talk about the importance of narrative and backgrounds, stage mechanics, and Guilty Gear Strive. Because I guess I haven't done a video about how I would have done this in a couple years maybe, and somebody asked me to do it again, so I'll talk about that. So first of all, somebody asked about what about having stage obstacles and all that kind of shit. No, that's fucking that's like a Smash Brother thing. What are you talking about? Stage obstacles, like world heroes, eternal champions? No, that's like a fun thing, not a serious thing, right? But Guilty Gear Strive, okay. And before I talk about Guilty Gear Strive, right, you got to remember, and maybe Guilty Gear Strive is such a great example of this because it shows how important narrative is to people. What is true doesn't even matter all the time, right? But the narrative that you can tell an audience, right? Like, again, Guilty Gear Strive is a great example because, again, look, they fucking changed fucking Bridget for the narrative to sell it to the overly radical LGBTQ audience, right? Now, again, there's going to be haters. Oh, no, they didn't change the story. Oh, don't read all my interviews from the past when I said Bridget was always, a boy and I thought it was funny. Now this is what I actually meant. Okay, so at the very least, you have to say that then Daisuke's old interviews were a fucking lie, right? But the point is, or you could even say, look at all the lies the community makes up about me. No proof whatsoever, but, you put out this narrative that Clayton is a terrible person, and some people won't actually bother to look up, right? So narrative is important. A game like Super Turbo. Why is Super Turbo so important? Because of the narrative of the game. It's very interesting psychologically and just looking at the game competitively as well. So again, that long forward. What am I talking about narrative? I'm talking about when you sell a game has a narrative to the consumer of why do I want to buy this product, right? Now we know why the narrative that doesn't have to do with the game, why they sold you Guilty Gear Strive because of this retcon and all this kind of stuff, right? But one of the things they failed with Guilty Gear Strive is it actually gave you an opportunity to do background kind of stuff for a video game, right? Instead, what they did for this background thing, they added this basically, and it was so retarded because even when you saw the interviews, like I said, go fucking read those interviews, how retarded they sound. They said in some interview, paraphrasing, but almost an exact quote, I feel like, that they put in this fucking you could break the wall or whatever like that, but they didn't know why you would never not break the wall. Did you remember that fucking interview? We went over it on the channel. They're like, yeah, we thought it would be cool if you would break the wall, but we're going to give you the choice that you don't have to break the wall. And then in the interview, they're like, so why wouldn't you break the wall? And they're like, oh, well, yeah, we've been testing the game for the past year and we can't find a reason why you wouldn't. Okay, that's retarded. That's not a real fucking gameplay mechanic, right? And the wall is basically boom, boom, boom. It's just an infinite thing, right? And even once you got to the final version of the game, they actually made it even more likely to break the wall because at least during some of the initial betas, you could be around mid-level and you could still fall down and slide down on the screen. But they put it so low in the final version, it's retarded. Anyway, again, long forward. So what could you have actually done to put a new perspective on fighting games, to put a new narrative that you can sell the consumer, right? That it doesn't matter if you're playing or even the audience, right? Because sometimes when a commentator is commentating a game, they're telling you the story of the match. Like, oh, this character has this option available, blah, 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 right? Just like when you're playing, you are playing in your head this narrative, the story is going on, right? So they should have actually put a focus on the wall breaking mechanic and Strive, that it's an actual narrative that you have to think of, that the announcers can then tell the player and the audience. They're like, whoa, you should be excited here. And what do I mean by that, right? So first of all, you would say that you can only break either the left side once or the right side, right? You only get 2 wall breaks an entire match, right? Only one, right? And you could say the prerequisite to breaking the wall, of course, you could have this, you hit the guy against the wall and the glass starts to crack, right? Now, what you would do is, in this version of the game, there's no, you just like bounce off the wall if you don't hit the guy, right? Your guy slides down and then they can be mixed up or whatever. But you can choose to break this wall by, say, you could say something like, oh, every character has one of their special moves can break a wall. Or maybe every character has, like, for a little bit of meter, they have like an EX move that can break the wall. Or maybe it's something like each round you start off with, you each have 2 little stocks, right? And this is because if you have the opportunity to break the wall, you can waste one of these stocks. But maybe this move, if you don't use it in the corner, it has some kind of mid-screen applicability, whatever you want to call it, right? But the point is, when you break the wall, it is almost a guaranteed win somehow, right? Like, let's say you're doing a combo, blah, 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 blah. The screen starts to shatter, blah, blah, blah. Now, you could let the guy fall down. And you could go for this mix-up, right? Because now when the guy's in his hunched over little animation, whatever, he has to hold this mix-up unless he were to reversal or some shit like that. Who knows, right? But that's not guaranteed. But if you use your one special move that can break the wall, if you use your, let's say maybe it's an EX move, if you use one of your stocks, each match, each character starts off with 2 stocks, because you only potentially get 2 opportunities to do it. If you do this, when you knock the guy through the wall, let's say it does something ridiculous. It does like another 50% damage. Who knows? So your guy flies over to the next screen, right? And it's basically almost an instant win. It's so much of a almost instant win that it becomes important that you might want to keep it. Okay? So what does this put in your mind? You're like, whoa, I have this ability, say this theoretical match. Say we're winning this very first match, right? And I hit the guy, he splatters against the wall. But guess what? You know what? Do I want to waste my one wall break on the right side for this almost instant win, right? We could fly over here and my victory is almost guaranteed, but guess what? If I broke that wall, and then we are now on this side of the screen, I have to remember that even if this next theoretical match happens, even if I were to wall splat this guy here, I can't break that wall anymore. I already used my fucking trump card, so to speak, right? Now during this next theoretical match we're going back and forth. I can only break a wall if we hit the left side again, right? And then of course the left side would go to this stage, right? And then vice versa, you know, if you were to break this left side on this wall, you can then only break the right side, which would then go to here. Okay? So again, you can only break a left or a right side once a match. And of course, if you go here, if you broke the left side and you go here, you can only break the right side here. If you broke the right side here and you go here, you can only break the left side here, okay? I want you to really, really think about what that would do, okay? I know it's actually simple, right? But you have to think about the narrative and like the perspective of putting a new perspective on a fighting game, okay? Because what does this do? When the announcer is actually commentating the match, say you're going back and forth in the first match. Say I wall break here, right? Or I get the wall splatter here. The announcers instantly tell you, oh shit, Bob got a wall splat. Does he want to use his trump card to automatically win this match basically? Or is he going to save it? And then you, the fucking viewer, is also thinking, oh shit, oh fuck, I would go for it. You know what I mean? He's losing. Maybe I only have like 10% life. And I hit this guy and he's wall splat and he has 60% life, right? Or some shit like that, right? Well, I could go for a mix up or some shit like that maybe is going to then do the full 60%, or I could break the wall for 50%. Now we're both here 10 or whatever like that. And then who knows, right? Then who knows? Maybe I still lost the match, right? Maybe I won the match, right? Or you go back here and it's just like, oh fuck, do I want to waste it here? Oh, I go for the mix up. He blocked it and then he comes back and kill me. And then their announcers are like, oh man, Bob is really going to be kicking himself for not using his stock to break that right side of the wall. That was his chance to win the match. You know what I mean? Did you get what I'm getting at? It is something so simple that puts a new spin on fighting games, right? And I'm not saying this should be in every fucking fighting game, right? Just like I don't like EX moves in general. I think EX moves should have been a one and off, and I've proved multiple times why EX moves are bad for video games. But, you know, for sake of argument, every fighting game has to be different. So if an EX move is in one generation of games, or not generation, just that particular Street Fighter 3, let's say, it's fine, but let it die there, right? Just like I don't think everything should have a wall break mechanic, right? But at least if you're going to put in a wall break mechanic, make it do something. In fucking Guilty Gear Strive, there is almost never, ever a reason to not wall break the guy. You see Chip sometimes, he doesn't go for a wall break, but guess what? That's because Chip doesn't actually have to wall break. Maybe Happy Chaos is his name, right? It's not Chaos Happy, it's Happy Chaos. What a fucking gun motherfucker, right? Sometimes you see that guy, he doesn't break a wall. But generally speaking, if you have the opportunity to break a wall, you break the wall. There's no mind game there. It's not exciting. The announcer is not like, oh shit, is he going to try to break the wall or not? Whereas if you did this, guess what? It's automatically in your mind. You're like, oh shit, while I'm watching this match, I wonder when Bob is going to try to use his wall break. Or I wonder if Bob thinks he can still win this match without the wall break and then save it for round 2. Bob could win round 1 automatically if he uses his wall break. But guess what? Bob is a very sly. Bob is very confident with his mix-up of after wall splatting Timmy. After he has wall splat Timmy and Timmy has fallen down, he is confident that the mix-up will beat Timmy. And then even if Timmy has a potential to beat Bob in the next round, Bob still has 2 potential wall breaks he could use, no matter what position on the screen he is in, right? Or maybe Bob is afraid of Timmy and his non-binary movements and his ability to block the mix-up. So Bob is like, I'm going to waste the stock here. I'm going to make sure I win this match no matter what. But then Bob had a brain fuck. Because now Bob is playing in this round 3, and they're always on this side of the screen. And Bob cannot break that side of the wall of the screen with his stock. So Bob would actually have to hopefully get pressured by Timmy, and then Bob would have to hope to get on the other side to then break the wall. Did you get what I'm saying? Something like that, right? But anyway, the point is it's so fucking simple. And the point is that it adds a easy narrative to a fucking fighting game. It's not rocket science, right? And even the announcer, like I said, they can be like, oh man, Bob should have broke the wall there. Bob's gonna be butthurt about that. Just like after the tournament, a guy loses the tournament. Oh, I can't believe he didn't super there or whatever, blah, blah. I can't believe he didn't burst that combo. Oh, I can't believe Bob didn't burst. Oh, he's gonna kick himself for not bursting there or whatever like that. Now you have impression the announcer's like, oh man, he shouldn't have saved his wall break. He shouldn't have saved the wall break. Or it's like, oh man, he shouldn't have used the wall break. He shouldn't have used the wall break. He was already winning by a lot. He didn't have to waste the wall break there. Do you get what I'm saying? That is a narrative of a fucking fighting game, right? That is important. Not only psychologically, you know what I mean? We're like, oh, but, whatever. It's also like a narrative of the fucking video game. That's why I say like a game like Super Turbo. Super Turbo is an amazing game narrative-wise because it's interesting psychologically narrative-wise because you can tell where fighting games are. And then in the competitive nature of the game, the narrative of it is very easy to understand. It's a very easily digestible game for the consumer. The consumer understands, right? A game like Guilty Gear Strive as it is now, it doesn't matter what level you're basically at. There's no narrative really to wall breaking. It's just like, oh, you just wall break? The fucking interviews of the game, again, was like a year. It was almost when the game was coming out that they had the interview. And like the guy was like, so have you decided why you wouldn't break a wall? And the interview, they're like, yeah, we actually haven't decided why you wouldn't break the wall in all of our testing. Why the fuck is it in there? It's just like for a cheap pop then. You know what I mean? It's fucking retarded. At least for something like this, it's interesting. There's a narrative to it, dude. Right? So again, there's an easy way that I've talked about before, and you could go however deep you want to be into it. It could be every character has just a specific special move that, oh, if you special move with this special move when you have a The wall is cracked. You will always break the wall. And that move, for whatever reason, it does 50% life. You know what I mean? Something crazy. Whatever, right? And of course, you know, you could say this wall is always whatever, right? It could be a fucking EX move. Oh, if EX maybe it costs a little bit of meter. It could be something, like I said, a stock. Oh, you have this like, oh, each character starts off a match with 2 stocks or some shit like that in case they want a wall break. And if you use this wall break move in neutral, maybe it has some kind of strange versatile function or something like that you could add another complexity to, like, oh, well, Kai, you know what? He has this move that he could break a wall with it, but it's also actually kind of a versatile move mid-screen. But if he uses this versatile move that he normally doesn't have access to, he's not going to be able to break the wall on that side, right? Do you see something so simple adds a new perspective on fighting games, right? Again, I made a lot of videos about narrative. Dragon Ball FighterZ is a good game. You can talk about the narrative. Super Turbo, whatever, all that kind of stuff, right? But yeah, as it is, you know, it just goes to show you got to remember narrative is important, dude. Again, look at a game like Guilty Gear Strive. They fucking retcon Bridget, right? Retcon Testament. Look at that fucking, can you believe that one bullshit? Oh no, Daisuke always said that Testament was a non-binary person. And I'm like, the interview says he thinks that Testament is like, has androgynous features. But he's a man. Okay, so you're telling me that there's an old interview where Daisuke says that Testament is a man, but he is androgynous. That meant that Testament is always supposed to be non-binary and gender fluid. Do you know the word androgynous doesn't mean that? That's a big word for me, and I even know that doesn't mean that. Oh, Daisuke has an interview now where he said that Bridget was always supposed to be transgender. Okay, yeah, he does. But he also has interviews where he laughed and he said that Bridget was always meant to be a guy because he thought it was funny. Oh, well, fuck you. It's like, dude, okay, so then just say, okay, you know, I'll accept it. Just say that he lied in the last interview. Oh, I don't want to call him a liar. I'm just going to say that those interviews aren't real. Oh, what about the retcon of Bridget? Bridget just doesn't care about the brother that has gone missing. Oh, yeah, that they just changed. That's character development. That Bridget, that's just not part of the story. Bridget's brother going missing and Bridget wanting to save them. Okay. But hey, Guilty Gear Strive, it's sold. It shows you narrative is important. Look at the lies that people make up about me. No proof anything that everyone has ever said about me. I've constantly showed all the lies that people make up about me. But so many people are in on it. Again, that James Chen thing is crazy. Oh yeah, you're one of the most important people ever in fighting games, but we're not actually allowed to say your name on any stream. Why? Fucking retarded. You know, but again, there's the narrative. You know, people are fucking retarded. They're very gullible. But again, narrative is important. And when you have a narrative like this, you have that sort of player who might not normally play Strive. That you're like, you know what? I don't give a fuck about Guilty Gear generally, but this mind game of Strive is so interesting, I just gotta play it. I just love this thing. And you know what? You might want to believe that isn't true, but I've said this before. There are a lot of people, and you might not want to admit this, that they will play a game just for a character, even if they don't necessarily like the game. If there's one reason for you to play a game, they will play it. Look at a game like Karna's Revenge. I don't think Karna's Revenge is the most amazing game ever, but guess what? I think Mizuguchi is cool. Mizuguchi is an idea of a character that I cannot get in another fighting game. So I think he's cool. So obviously, if a person, maybe they don't really care about Guilty Gear generally speaking, but guess what? They're like, whoa, this is an interesting thing about fighting games. This kind of wall dynamic. I like that little meta. I like the meta in this because this is not in another fighting game. Right? That's what you do. Simple. Remember, if you like the videos, like, subscribe, comment, share, support the channel if you want to. Appreciate it. Thanks. The end.